Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to our ranking member for holding this hearing today. Director Vought, thank you so much for coming to answer our questions. It says a lot that you're here talking about the efficiencies that you're finding and the improvements you're making at OMB. This is really about taxpayer money and protecting the integrity of where those dollars go. And as you probably know, I've been very, very passionate about improper payments through OMB. We know from the numbers out of GAO, that number is somewhere between 230 and 500 some billion dollars. I actually think it's probably higher than that, right? And when we look at the taxpayer money being disrespected in that way and people for years turning a blind eye to that in terms of fixing this problem. So I appreciate your candor and the effort by this administration to do that through the executive order from the President 14249 to protect America's bank account against waste, fraud, and abuse. And I was proud to support this by introducing legislation here to codify the President's executive order to do exactly that, protecting American taxpayers from wasteful spending. One of the provisions of the order did direct OMB to work with Department of Treasury to establish pre-certification and pre-award procedures across the federal government. This is the breakdown in process that has led to this fraud and improper payments. Can you explain why those procedures were not in place before this executive order?
One of the things in this issue in general, and I'm sure you've been frustrated by it, is the extent to which this is all common sense, and yet it never seems to happen. And I actually posed the question to our team this morning, why did we see nothing before the Trump administration? And honestly, there just wasn't, it wasn't an interest in the previous administration. We're very thankful for the executive order. We're going to be taking our duties very, very seriously. We look forward to working with you on this. I think much of what DOJ has identified is the extent to which the agencies have not been pinging the systems and the data sets that are there and can be there, and then we need to fight through whatever bureaucracies make an institutional argument for why whatever the grant agency is shouldn't be cross-checking it with the data that's available. So it'll be a priority of ours, and we look forward to working with you on it.
Yeah, it certainly is a common sense thing to know where the money's going and what one hand knowing what the other hand is doing in that process. It's absolutely critical. Can you update us on the implementation? You mentioned, you know, obviously you and I share that frustration that it wasn't in place before, and we do look forward to working with you, get you whatever resources you need to be able to implement this. Where do you stand in making some of these fundamental changes to protect
taxpayers? We're working on government-wide guidance to agencies to implement the EO right now. We're going through a policy process internally as to what that should include, and we'll be back to you soon with details on that.
Okay, looking forward to updates there. And as we work to pass all 12 of these appropriations bills, hopefully before that September 30th deadline, can you ensure us that the days of not tracking where that money is going is over? You have a good eye and a good watch on it for taxpayers?
Yes, and we've got a number of statutory responsibilities also in terms of taxpayer right to know, statutes that have been tasked to OMB. It's another response to the chairman in terms of the need for the FTEs, is that often people want stuff to happen at OMB because they know it can get done, that we have tools to get the agencies to move forward. But therein is our need for the employees to be able to do that important work and to push through and make sure that we're living up to what you all have asked us to do.
Well, this certainly should be a bipartisan issue, and I questioned your predecessor about this and former Secretary of the Treasury as well. And Secretary Bessent was in here just a few weeks ago saying the same thing. He was incredulous that this was allowed to happen and go on. It should be a bipartisan issue. At least it was, I think, before President Trump started getting the credit for this. So we should be able to get behind policy that helps to fix this problem. What else are you doing at OMB to help prevent improper payments, hold agencies accountable for their spending? You know, what does that process look like other than just issuing that guidance to other agencies? But where does the accountability come in there?
So one of the cultural aspects of what I've tried to emphasize at OMB is one OMB. And so I don't like the notion of you have a budget side of the house, a regulatory side of the house, and a management side of the house, because often everything gets stovepiped and you don't have the main interactors with the agencies that are benefiting from much of the work that you would find at the management side doing improper payments. So one of the things that we are doing, we had a meeting along these lines just yesterday about making sure that the people that work with the budget offices, the ones that are working regulatorily, are coming up with policies that actually help along these lines. So it's not just, hey, did you go through the right process and ping the right systems? we want there to actually people be getting credit for doing deregulatory activities that are also dealing with improper payments. We want there to be an emphasis on programmatically being rewarded for having the various budget offices and teams at the agencies being rewarded for this kind of activity. And I think that's the benefit of doing it at OMB, and I think that's what will inevitably be the success from it.
Yeah, you have a wealth of knowledge. You should use it to your advantage going forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.